The rain never really stopped on Lake Road. It just learned to fall quieter. They said she vanished somewhere between the city lights and the water. But when I found her umbrella half buried in the mud, I knew this wasn't a disappearance. It was a message. Every drop of rain, every tire mark, every breath the wind stole from that road. They were all trying to say the same thing. She didn't run. Someone erased her. Rain glued itself to the windshield like it was counting my heartbeat. The lake road was quiet but not peaceful. When I stepped out, the air felt wrong, heavy, like it was holding its breath. I'm Detective Evan Miles, 24, 1 year on the force, and tonight is my first real case. 2 sets of footprints dragged through the mud, one heavy, deliberate, one light, stumbling. A fresh scuff on the curb, a half-moon stain where something heavy had rested. No blood. Just the faint chemical scent of bleach where no bleach should be. The patrolman beside me muttered, "Looks like an accident." I didn't answer. I crouched by the ditch and caught a glint red synthetic fibers trapped in the grass. The radio cracked, "Missing person, female, 22, last seen downtown." Downtown to a dead lake road in the rain, this wasn't random. It was a trail. I wrote the time, 2:17 a.m. The place, where a stranger's night ended. The wind pushed the reeds and the dark whispered back, "She isn't missing. She's hidden." The next morning, the world felt colder. In the surveillance room, screens flickered like ghosts. "Hotel Averton Central, last night, 21:43, the technician said. There she was, Lucy Hartman, smiling, alive. Beside her, a man in a black jacket, carrying a bottle of wine and her umbrella. The elevator doors closed. At 11 p.m., they opened again. He stepped out alone. No wine. No smile. A backpack on his shoulders. An hour later, he returned with plastic bags, cleaning supplies, bleach, gloves. And at dawn he rolled a hard suitcase through the lobby, too heavy for one hand. I zoomed in on the silver logo at the handle, same model sold 3 blocks away. He'd bought the suitcase after she died. The room was silent. The technician looked at me. I couldn't look away from the frozen frame, his calm face, eyes half closed, the quiet of a man rehearsing guilt. "We've got him," I said. "Now we just need the body." When you catch a trail, you feel it before you know it. His rental car records appeared on the screen, white hatchback, picked up at 7:12 p.m. Same name, same phone number. I traced his route by city cameras, supermarket, gas station, highway, every stop deliberate. On one frame he glanced in the mirror, not the road. Watching his own reflection more than traffic. At 1:40 a.m. he passed the Lake Road station camera, same minute our tire marks were logged. That wasn't coincidence, it was signature. His phone shut off at 1:33. 7 minutes earlier. Calculated. I drew a red line on the map, hotel gas station Lake Road Forest. End of the line, Whitacre Forest, no lights, no cameras. When we found the car abandoned 3 kilometers from the main road, trunk washed but not perfect, we scraped the rubber lining, dirt, fibers, microthreads matching her dress. Standing there I whispered what no detective should say aloud, "We already know where this ends." The forest waited under a dead sky. The rain had stopped, which made every sound louder. Branches, insects, my own heartbeat. The air smelled of rot and salt. We parked near a narrow path, floodlights tore open the dark. The ground looked wrong, fresh earth, lighter beneath the top layer, someone had dug and stopped. "Careful," I said. Nora from forensics knelt, brushing soil with her glove. A plastic corner peeked through. Then fabric, floral, torn. Beneath it, a pale hand. Everything froze. No shouts, no rush. Just the low hum of electricity and the sound of truth surfacing. The scene turned smaller, quieter, unbearably human. I noted the time, 16:04 hours. Female, early 20s. No visible struggle. The bleach smell again, mixed with earth. I stepped back. The lake below reflected our lights like a mirror. In that reflection I saw myself, not a detective, just another witness standing too close to someone else's ending. I whispered, "There's no perfect hiding place, only time waiting to be found." The evidence room smelled of latex and metal. On the table sat the suitcase from the CCTV. Cleaned, polished, but not enough. Under the wheel casing, tiny red fibers, identical to the fabric found in the forest. Beside it, gloves, a plastic cap from a bleach bottle, empty containers. Every purchase traced to one store, cash payment, caught on camera. Same man, same jacket. He bought the tools after she was gone. That's not panic, that's planning. Forensics found soil fragments in the car's trunk matching the forest minerals exactly. His digital trail told the rest, 15 searches between midnight and 1:30, how deep to bury a body, bleach on fabric, how long before smell fades. At 1:33 his phone went dark. At 3:42 it lit again with how to clean a hotel room. Every keystroke a confession. I looked at the timeline on the board, each minute a puzzle piece locking into place. "This isn't a crime of passion," I said. "It's choreography." Sometimes the scariest moment isn't when you find a body, it's when the killer comes back. CCTV showed him entering the hotel again at 8 in the morning. Same clothes, but new shoes. Calm, collected. He asked to extend his stay for one more night. Then in the garage he opened the trunk, looked around, and threw a plastic bag into a bin. Later we'd find cleaning wipes inside. At 11 he walked the same street, bought coffee, smiled at strangers. No panic, just routine. I froze the frame, his hands, nails cut to the skin. He'd scrubbed himself clean. But under every nail hides what bleach can't erase, truth. When we brought him in, he said softly, "It was an accident." I slid a photo across the table, him buying the suitcase. "People in shock don't buy luggage," I told him. He looked at it once and blinked slow, like the world was catching up. I saw it then, the first crack in his perfect mask. The laptop remembered everything. No password could hide what he'd typed. The folder labeled private held a checklist: wine, suitcase, plastic bag, car, bleach, shovel. The digital map of murder. His search history: how to make someone lose consciousness, how long before the body stops moving, best place to hide a body near Auckland. These weren't impulses, they were rehearsals. His chat logs on dating apps were copied word for word, the same compliments, the same promises, the same phrase, "I like control." Hours before meeting Lucy, he Googled how to clean blood from carpet. Afterward, how to hide evidence of strangulation. I closed the file. It was all there: motive, method, intent. Not the story of panic, of obsession. He hadn't lost control, he'd exercised it. When we opened the laptop's recycle bin, we found one more file, a 16-second clip testing camera angles in the hotel room. He looked into the lens and smiled. "Okay," he said. "This looks good." There are two kinds of silence in an interrogation room. One empty. One thick enough to choke on. He sat across from me, hands folded, eyes flat. "You know why you're here," I said. "Nothing." Lucy Hartman. A twitch at the corner of his mouth. "You said it was an accident." He nodded. She stopped breathing. I panicked. I hit play on the monitor. Footage of him dragging the suitcase, buying bleach. The screen light turned his face pale. "People in shock don't go shopping," I said. He stared, unmoved. I slid a printed page toward him, his checklist. At the bottom, one line in small text: "Don't forget to smile on camera." His lips parted, color draining. That was it, the moment he realized we'd seen through the script. I leaned closer. "No perfect crime," I whispered. "Just a bad director." He said nothing. The silence between us weighed more than any confession. Hotel room 307 smelled of chemicals and fear. The door clicked open and bleach hit like a slap. Forensics swept through white suits, gloves, luminol. When the lights dimmed, blue spirals bloomed across the carpet. Not streaks of cleaning, patterns of struggle, a fall, a hand pushing away. On the wall near the bed, 2 narrow lines glowed where fingers once gripped. In the bathroom, the drain caught what bleach mist, fibers, traces of skin, diluted blood. Even the mirror held ghosts, smudged prints from someone wiping steam, not guilt. On the nightstand, a wine bottle and 2 glasses, one spotless, one with her fingerprints still intact. The bedspread held soil identical to the forest's. He cleaned, but nature signed her name anyway. Nora whispered, "He planned this for hours." I nodded. He planned it for years. As the luminol faded, the room looked clean again. But to me it stayed blue, glowing with every secret light refuses to hide. Sometimes the darkest evidence lives in pixels. His phone unlocked in 30 seconds, 4 digits, arrogance disguised as simplicity. Messages from that night: "Bring the wine, don't worry, I'll set everything up." Then, "I like when people trust me." At 12:23 a.m., searches, pressure on neck, how long until body stops reacting, signs of death without pulse. At 1:33 the phone went dark. At 3:42 it lit again with "How deep to bury a body?" Cold. Ordered. Mechanical. We recovered an audio clip from the trash, for seconds of a door creaking, a muffled thud, silence, then the click of a light switch. Enough. The pattern complete: texts, purchases, travel, bleach, burial. When I pinned the timeline on the wall, red lines linked every act. It wasn't chaos. It was choreography. The prosecutor called me that afternoon. "Evan, we have enough. We're filing murder charges." I hung up and looked out at the rain. Justice is just truth wearing handcuffs. Courtrooms have their own smell: paper, dust, and fear dressed up as order. I sat behind the prosecutor, my file on my lap. Across the aisle, he looked transformed: clean-shaven, suit-pressed, calm as prayer. His lawyer rose first, voice smooth as silk. "This was a tragic misunderstanding," he said. "A game that went too far." A murmur rolled through the room. I took the stand, raised my right hand, and spoke the words that still burned my throat. Lucy Hartman didn't play games. She believed she was meeting a man, not a director of her death. The prosecutor led me through the evidence: videos, searches, receipts, fibers, soil. The defense asked, "Did he tell you it was consensual?" He did. Then maybe it was. I leaned into the mic. Maybe. But consent ends when someone buys bleach before anyone's dead. The jury didn't blink. In the gallery, Lucy's mother listened over video call, whispering she trusted people. That was her mistake. When I sat down, I knew the truth had already chosen a side. Verdict day had a different weight. The air itself seemed to wait. 12 jurors entered, faces pale, eyes heavy. The judge asked, "Have you reached a verdict?" The forewoman stood. "Guilty, Your Honor, first-degree murder." The word guilty hit harder than the gavel. A sob somewhere behind me, a sharp breath from the mother's throat. He didn't move. No shock. No anger. Just stillness. The judge's voice echoed off the walls, "Sentencing tomorrow, 10 a.m. And just like that, it was over. Truth had won, but nobody looked victorious. Justice is never applause, it's the silence that follows. Outside the courtroom, rain had started again. The mother passed me, eyes hollow, whispering, "Thank you." I couldn't say it back. Because truth doesn't bring peace, it just stops the lie from breathing. The next morning the courtroom was colder. No reporters, no noise. Only those who needed to be there. He entered flanked by guards, same steady walk, same calm eyes. The judge read, "Life imprisonment, minimum 17 years before parole." Words fell like stones into deep water. Lucy's mother held her necklace tight, the one her daughter had given her. When it ended, she whispered, "Now I know." He didn't look at her. Didn't look at anyone. He stared straight ahead, as if watching the credits roll. On his way out, we locked eyes for a second. Nothing there, no fear, no remorse. Just emptiness that outlives every verdict. Outside, the city kept moving, cars and people like nothing had happened. I sat on the courthouse steps, rain on my face, and wrote one line in my notebook: "Justice in joy." It's just truth finally catching its breath. A week later the file was stamped closed. I should have felt relief. Instead, I felt nothing. Until the phone rang. "Detective Miles," a woman's voice asked. "I need to talk to you." She told me she'd met him before Lucy. "He scared me," she whispered. I didn't think anyone would believe me. 3 more calls followed that week. Different voices, same story. He'd charmed them, controlled them, vanished. Patterns. Echoes. The same words, the same smile, the same fear. When we lined their testimonies up, it was all there, a rehearsal that stretched back years. I stayed late that night, lights off, rain against the window. Wrote in my notebook, "Evil doesn't start with screams. It starts with a smile you trust too soon." I called Nora. "Now that he's gone, the adrenaline's gone too," I said. She replied, "Then maybe it's finally safe to breathe." I hung up, looked at the Lake Road map still pinned to my wall, and whispered, "Every story ends. Some just echo." Late one afternoon, someone left a folder on my desk. No name, just the word Sunderland. Inside, missing person, female, 24. Last seen leaving a bar near the station. Handwritten note, same message pattern as Hartman. My chest tightened. The screenshot showed familiar lines: "I like to lead, trust me, it'll be fun." I called the local station. "Tourist," they said. "Room 212, Riverside Motel." Found her things, no body. The bleach smell again. I was in the car within the hour. Rain hammered the windshield. Every mile felt like déjà vu. Sunderland was smaller, colder. The motel clerk looked at me like she already knew. "You're not the first detective here," she said. "But you're the first who looks like he's seen this ghost before." Room 212 was sealed with tape. Inside, same layout, same mirror, same faint blue stains under the lamp. I knelt, and the floor whispered, "He taught someone well." The station smelled of damp paper. I read through the new file, and something snapped. Every form, every note, too perfect. Like someone copying my own casework. At the bottom of a report, a signature, Detective Ryan Cole. The name hit hard. Ryan, my former trainee. He'd watched me investigate Hartman. Watched every move. Every instinct. I called headquarters. "Where's Cole assigned now?" "Sunderland. 6 months. Lead investigator on the missing case." My throat went dry. I entered his office, dim light, laptop open, files aligned like storyboards. On his monitor, CCTV stills from the motel. The angle wasn't police footage. It was private surveillance. And in one frame, a shadow holding a camera. "Ryan," I said. He looked up, calm, polite. "Evan. Heard you were coming." I stepped closer. "Your case looks familiar." "Coincidence?" "No. Repetition." His jaw tightened. I pointed at the screen. "Anonymous link?" He nodded. "Funny," I said. "Anonymous links still carry your IP." Silence. He smiled faintly. "You taught me well." That's when I knew he wasn't solving the copycat case. He was it. The message came at 2:14 a.m. "If you want the truth, come to the river." No sender ID, no punctuation. Just like him. I drove through fog that erased the world 1 meter at a time. The old bridge loomed over black water. One light glowed in the middle. He was waiting, camera in hand. 17 seconds late, he said. The red record light blinked. Every story needs a final act. "Where is she, Ryan?" "Safe. For now." He tilted his head. "You see, you chase truth like I chase meaning. You don't stop until someone bleeds." I took a step closer. "Drop the camera." "You first," he said, grinning. The wind rose. He raised the lens. "Tell me the line, Evan. The one you always say." I stared. "No perfect crime." "Right," he said, "only bad directors." Then he lifted a gun, not at me, but at himself. "Last scene," he whispered. "You get the ending you write." The shot cracked the night. He fell backward into the dark. The camera followed him down. They pulled the camera from the river 3 days later. I sat alone in the forensics lab. No Nora this time. Just me and the hum of the lights. The files were intact. I pressed play. The footage wasn't of him, it was of me. Me on the bridge, in the rain, from his angle. Spliced with clips from my old investigations, interrogations, my notes, my voice. My words twisted into confession: there is no perfect crime. Only those who hide it well. He'd edited everything to look like I was the killer. His masterpiece. His revenge. At the end of the tape, he stared into the lens, smiling through blood. "See? It's not about who kills. It's about who tells the story. And now, you'll tell mine." The video cut to black, the audio kept playing, water, footsteps, my voice stitched from past recordings, inspired by true events. I sat there for a long time, listening to silence that wasn't empty anymore. It was full of him. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every frame of that footage burned behind my eyelids. Ryan wasn't dead in the water, he was alive inside the story he'd left me. He'd turned the truth into a weapon. By dawn, my face was on every headline. Detectives case questioned. Evidence re-examined. I didn't care about my badge. I cared that somewhere, another copy might rise, inspired not by the crime, but by the performance. I walked to the bridge again. Mist coiled around the railings, same smell of metal and rain. I dropped a single page from my notebook into the river. It floated, then sank. Maybe that's what stories do. They drown, but the ripples keep moving. 3 days later, forensics returned the final card labeled recovered river footage. I loaded it into the viewer. The first frame, black. Then my voice. His edit. My words rearranged, my face cut into someone I didn't recognize. And then Ryan's whisper, "Congratulations, Evan. You finally have everything: evidence, motive, audience. The only question left is who they'll believe." The screen went dark. I wrote my final note: truth is never pure. It's edited. And when you stare too long into evil, it starts to study you back. I sealed the file, titled it The Lake Road Secret, Final Cut. Date. Signature. I walked outside. The rain had stopped, the city waking. The light felt sharp, unforgiving, too real. I looked at the river and whispered, every story ends, but the camera never blinks. Then I turned away. Because even after justice, even after death, stories like his don't die. They just wait for the next director.